I inherited a bigger mess than I thought I'd inherited. Blah, blah, blah. May 27th, why we're coming back from the brink now. Step back from the brink. There's some calm in the economy that didn't exist before. What was that statement on May 27th worth? As much as the paper I have crumpled up and now toss in the trash can. That's what it was worth. Might have been worth to the dunces in Hollywood to whom he was speaking. But in terms of its value to the American people and the economy, worthless words. By the way, Supreme Court nominee Sonia Sotomayor has broken her ankle. She fractured her ankle in the airport. She stumbled in the airport on her way to Senate meetings. Now, the question is, would a white male judge have fractured his ankle in the same circumstances at the same airport on the way to Senate meetings? To the phones we go to John in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Hello, sir. Welcome to the EIB Network. Hi.
Good afternoon, Rush. I called because I'm in the computer IT industry, and I've worked on a lot of systems at financial institutions. And what Obama's proposing to do with the healthcare system is basically replace everything in one fell swoop, which no responsible corporation would ever do with one of their major systems. Typically, they would pilot test it first in an isolated area, then they would gradually replace, different parts of the company at different times, so that if something bad happened, there would be a fallback. The Republicans, I think, or anybody who just wants to make sure that they preserve the good things that we've got in our healthcare system right now, should demand that we set up pilot programs. And any of the states that have tried to do this already have all failed miserably. So I think if
I may interrupt.
Sure.
Two things. And this is not criticism. Please don't take this personally. I'm just listening to what you're saying, and I know from the corporate standpoint you're dead on accurate. You don't roll something out without testing it to know it's going to work. Too much is invested in it. You've got to have a fallback if it doesn't work. But right now, telling the American people that no corporation would do this is not the way to sell opposition to it. I'm sorry, it just isn't. If you tell the American people that no corporation would do this, they're going to think it's the way to go. Because he's made people hate corporate America. The second thing is, and this I do disagree with you on, respectfully so, because I know you're a smart guy, but the Republicans need to oppose this philosophically. They don't need to oppose it on the edges and say, look, why don't you try this in a couple states, or it's been tried in a couple states and it hasn't worked. They need to oppose this from start to finish the way it is being structured. They don't want any part of this. They don't want one vote for this plan. The Democrats are going to run around trying to get as many Republican votes as they can, just like he did for the stimulus, just like he did for anything else, so that he doesn't have to take the blame alone, so the Democrats don't take the blame alone. This is an utter disaster. It doesn't need to be tested. We don't need to test it to know it isn't going to work. It has not worked in Great Britain. It hasn't worked in Canada. It did not work in the Soviet Union, and it doesn't work in Cuba. I don't care what the hell anybody wants to tell me about it. I don't see anybody in this country sending any of their family to Cuba for serious medical care. If it was the best in the world, they'd be trying to find ways to get in there secretly and violate our laws. You can't travel there. All of this is bogus. There's not one aspect of this that recommends itself. Not one. Madeline in Melbourne, Florida. Great to have you here. You're on the EIB Network. Hello.
Hey, Rush, it's an honor.
Thank you.
I got two quick things. I just want to say what a great feeling it gives me to know that Michelle and the kids are having such a nice shopping spree over there and the romantic dinners, and he's out playing golf while I've been out on another wasted day, practically in tears, trying to find a pissy waitress job. My restaurant closed down 3 months ago. Does he give a rat's what about the little people like me?
Aren't you happy that your president is able to go play golf during these trying times? He needs the break. He needs to recharge and rejuvenate himself from these horrible circumstances he alone has to deal with. And of course, who can blame the First Lady and the kids for going sightseeing? Isn't that a wonderful thing for First Ladies? Aren't we as Americans proud to see that?
It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling, I tell you. Number two, thank God my husband has a good job, but you were mentioning about the health care thing. We have benefits through his company. What happens when everybody gets free health care? Do we still have to pay through his company, do you think? Or are we going to be able to get off of this and just get free like everybody else? Or are we going to be paying double the price? Or I have no clue what's going to happen.
Everybody is going to be paying more. There will be taxes on the company-provided benefits. Either the company will pay the taxes or the employee will pay the taxes as imputed income. There are also other tax increases planned. Obama is planning on limiting, if not eliminating, all tax deductions for the top tax brackets. As a means of raising more revenue. It's another tax increase, which is going to provide many disincentives for people who engage in like charitable activities or whatever to get the tax deduction for it. It's a disaster in the making. It is an out and right, utter disaster that he has planned. What's going to happen, to answer your question, is people are going to get laid off, as everybody is going to be required to have health insurance and health coverage. Businesses are not going to be able to afford it. The recipients aren't going to be able to. They're just going to have fewer jobs. They'll have to fire people. They'll have to lay people off.
Well, that makes me feel so much better.
It should make you feel better. It should make you feel a lump in your throat. We are on the cusp of an unmitigated national disaster and catastrophe. There is no possible way to overstate this. Folks, you know me. I am not an alarmist. I'm an optimist. I try to find the good things about every day. I want to enjoy life, and I want to help as many other people enjoy life. Well, I'm telling you what I see coming down the pike. As it gets worse and worse and worse, the architects of this saying, let's do more of what's making it worse. It's time to put the foot down. This is an unmitigated disaster. It is an Obama-caused tailspin, and it has to be stopped. It must be stopped for the sake of everybody's kids and grandkids and great-grandkids and the country as well. Madeline, thanks much for the call. Let's take a brief time out. We'll do it. We'll come back and continue after this.
America's Anchorman, Rush on the EIB.